Good day. In this video, we're going to simplify these three expressions. We are going to use reduction, your identities, and double angles. Here is our first problem. We have to simplify this. With reduction, we need to find out in which quadrant each one of these angles lie. 330 degrees will be in the fourth quadrant over there, 140 in the second quadrant, minus 160 in the third quadrant, 405 in the first quadrant, and 290 in the fourth quadrant. Because you are in grade 12, you don't have to write all the steps I'm going to write. We are going to change each one of these angles into a positive acute angle. This specific step you can leave out. But to get cos 330, we'll go 360 minus 30. To get sine 140, we'll go sine 180 minus 40. To get the sine minus 160, we'll go sine minus 160 and plus 360 to it to get it to be a positive angle. Then the 405 will be 360, one revolution, plus another 45 degrees. And the 290 will be a 360 minus 70 degrees. Because this writing confuses a lot of kids, I advise them to skip this step and understand what we say next. We ask, how far are each one of these angles the shortest way back to the x-axis? So cos 330 degrees will become plus cos 30 degrees. Sine 140 degrees will become plus sine 40 degrees. The sine minus 160 degrees, we decided to plus 360 to it first and just get it back to sine 200 degrees, which is a positive angle. We will still make it acute just now. The tan 405 degrees will become plus tan 45 degrees. The sine 290 degrees will become minus sine 70 degrees. You'll have to stop the video if you lose me here. The cos 30 stays cos 30. The sine 40 I'm going to change to sine 2 times 20. You'll see why now. The sine 200 becomes a minus sine 20. How far is 200 shortest way to the x-axis? Just keep the tan 45 for a minute and change this to a co-function. It becomes minus cos 20 degrees. Now we go to our special angles, and we got cos 30 here. That will become plus 3 over 2. The plus we get from timesing that minus with that minus. So the total answer out of here will be a plus. Garnish all the minuses. This is a double angle. Sine 2 times 20. It becomes 2 sine 20 cos 20. Don't get afraid because of the 1. If I see fractions, I make everything next to each other fractions. In the bottom over here, that tan 45 will become a 1. And we'll keep those two. This expression will then look like this. Then you can cancel that 2 with that 2. Only the square root 3 remaining. Cancel the sine 20 with the sine 20 and the cos 20 with the cos 20. Final answer, plus square root 3. Stop the video and get your brain around this one. Here is the next expression that we have to simplify. You can start with finding out in which quadrant they are. This angle will be in the first quadrant. We always take A as an acute angle. It's up here. We go minus 360 back to here. 90 plus A will be in the second quadrant. That's 90 plus an acute angle. 90 minus A is the first quadrant. And minus A is backwards into the fourth quadrant. We're also going to do co-functions here and here. So this one will become plus sine A. This one will become minus sine A. This one will become plus sine A. I'm changing it into a fraction because this tan is going to change into a fraction now. And tan in the fourth quadrant is negative. And tan identity tells me is sine A over cos A. If we simplify this, at the top we'll have sine A times sine A will give me a sine square A. That minus divided by that minus will give me a total plus. If I times that sine A with that sine A, I'll get a sine square A over the cos A at the bottom. Then we will pull these two fractions off each other. This becomes sine square A over 1. This bottom we tip and times, put it over there. You can cancel the sine square A with the sine square A. Your final answer, cos A. Stop the video and get your brain around this one. It is our third and last expression that we're going to simplify. First we decide in which quadrant we are. Then we reduce each one of them. The cos 160 becomes minus cos 20. Tan 200 becomes plus tan 20. And the sine minus 10 becomes minus sine 10. But in this case minus 2 sine 10 degrees. That minus divided by a minus gives me a total plus. Keep the cos 20. I'll just put it over 1. Then the tan 20 becomes sine 20 over cos 20. At the bottom we have 2 sine 10. If you cancel that cos 20 with that cos 20, you end up with sine 20 over 2 sine 10 degrees. Then we change the sine 20 degrees to sine 2 times 10 degrees. Using my double angle formula, I write this 2 sine 10 cos 10 degrees over 2 sine 10. Then you cancel the 2 and the 2, the sine 10 degrees and the sine 10 degrees. Your final answer, cos 10 degrees. Please stop the video and get your brain around this one. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video and subscribe to the channel. If you run into one of these kinds of questions that gives you trouble, you can send us a clear WhatsApp photo of your problem and a clear WhatsApp photo of where you tried it. Then we will try and solve the problem and send back an answer to you as soon as possible. Enjoy the double angles combined with reduction.